Right, I thought we'd have fun and I would talk shit on camera. Just generally, I mean, you've all watched YouTubers, whether I'm an influencer and this is what you should do and this will make you rich and that'll be famous. Well, fuck all that. I'm just going to talk, be me, and you might get some things. You might not get some things from this. Um, but it's up to you. It's your choice whether to watch this or not. That's all I'll say. But hopefully you'll pick up some things on the way. I love that that rhymes, by the way. God, that's cringe, isn't it? Um, God, that's so cringe. Anyway, right, let's get on. So, um, painting Amy Winehouse, or a depiction of Amy Winehouse from back in the day. It's going to be part of my marked series. I thought we'd just chat. I'll just chat and paint, and as I say, maybe you'll pick up some things, maybe you won't really. But all I know is it's better for me to do it and then maybe not have some, well, not lose some time over it really. So the art game. Let's talk about the art game, shall we? Because it is a game, and we all love playing it, don't we? I mean, let's define what it is to be an artist. What it is to be an artist is to literally take your ideas and put them out there for the world to see, isn't it? I mean, I don't know if you've been painting a few years now or you've only just started out, but whatever your journey is, one thing's for sure, we probably all want the one thing, the same one thing, or most of us do anyway. I know there's people out there which just do it as a hobby and that's what they enjoy, but I should imagine the majority of us paint to try to, to try and get that golden ticket and that dream of giving up the day job and becoming a locally or world famous entity, which is probably a lot harder. Well, not probably, it's definitely a lot harder than most of us think, and it shouldn't be taken for granted. So I've been painting for probably about 10 years now, and it's a skill that I'd say I was born with. It's a passion of mine that I get, not to say it too weirdly, but certain feelings about. I paint as much as possible. If I don't paint, I find that I get agitated, and I'm always looking for the next time I have some free time to work on the easel. I'm self-taught and probably paint in a way that a lot of people would, especially those snobby git artists out there that have a methodical system. I probably paint in a way that people say, no, 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 you can't paint that way. But ultimately, I honestly do not give a fuck. I don't care. All I know is I really enjoy having an idea, having a thought, finding a picture that I see on the net and thinking, oh, I could put a little spin on that. I could enjoy recreating that, putting that on my wall, adding a little bit of Andy Downs to it one way or another. There's a kind of magic about it. And it just doesn't, it's not just art. It's whatever passion you have, be it a musical spirit, whether it's, you know, you're into crochet or I don't know, even model making, all this sort of things like that, really. I mean, racing a car, you know, you'll get to that point, that sweet spot, and then it's all about the little moments, the discipline, the joy. If you've seen that F1 racing film with Brad Pitt in it, there's a spot in it which I absolutely love. I used to race, no, I didn't used to race, but I used to ride motorcycles and be a bit of a boy racer back in the day. And there's a section in it where he describes looking like, or looking for the moment when he's flying. And if you're got a passion for anything, you'll understand that moment. And that moment is when everything seems to come together and then everything's effortless. And in that moment, you can basically do anything. You feel like you're in total control, which is a myth because you're never in control. You're only in control in the moment. And then you feel like you're flying. I totally understand that. I love that it gets mentioned in the film. It's right at the end. And that's the passion I have. I have that sort of push and pull that when it's going well, my days fly by, or my time in the easel flies by. And then when I have a problem, a likeness issue, or I don't know, I just can't get myself into the painting, then it's almost like hell on earth. But when you get that sweet spot, it doesn't happen all the time. Honestly, it feels like you're flying. I mean, that's not what I strive for, but it's kind of like a byproduct of what I do. Now, as you know, you may not know, I've got a normal job, I've got a normal muggle job, which basically I'm very good at, but have no passion for. I know some people have made a lot of money out of the job that I do, but I've never been that way inclined with it. I've never really sought to expand that because I've always, or for the last, certainly for the time I've been painting, I've always wanted to expand this. But as you know, it's not easy. Becoming a, I think with art, you have to set out your stall to what you actually want from it. Because there's just, you know, there's so many avenues that you can go, or paths you can go down with art. And it really is dependent on what you want from it, really. Whether you just want to paint, maybe show at the local shows, maybe make gifts to your friends. If you actually want to sell it. And the main thing is just doing it. Just doing it and see what comes of it. One of the things I'd say I'd learned in the years that I've been painting I think it's probably the most valuable thing I've learned is the more time you spend on it, the better you'll be if you have to focus on it. You know, it is about focus, because the more you look at something, the more you want to redefine something, the better you'll get at it. The more mistakes that you learn from, the better you'll get at it. You know, the more colour mixing that you carry out, the better you'll get at it. It's just, that's how it is. I mean, that's it. No matter what you're doing, even if you're a plasterer, you can tell them as tradesmen because I'm always talking about the trades. Um, if you're a plasterer, you get better at plastering. You know, you have to do your good. I think you always, if you set up day one and going to be a world famous artist, then you're going to be disappointed very, very quickly because I don't think anybody can do that. Um, Possibly, I suppose, if you've got a leg up in life, like you're Madonna's son, and you've got a rich circle of friends, and you can throw in really nice parties, um, invite all your mates, and they'll come around and buy your artwork, no matter what state it's at. Or otherwise, then the reality is it's a really hard task. But I would say set out your stall, understand what you want from your art career, and then start making little goals for that. But ultimately, have a bloody good idea first. Otherwise, you'll just flounder, literally like a fish out of water. Now, I would describe, if somebody's to say, how would you describe yourself? I would say, I am a successful selling artist who holds community events and teachers. I couldn't survive as I am on that alone. I still need my plumbing life to prop up my art world. If I didn't, I didn't plumb. Is that the right expression? Should know by now. I've been doing it long enough. Didn't do plumbing. Didn't undertake plumbing. Didn't carry out plumbing. Whichever way you want to go down that road, then I wouldn't be able to afford this lovely studio, which possibly is overkill. But I have to say, it definitely helps with my headspace when it comes to thinking, creating, painting. I obviously work in quite a few different mediums, if you know me, and um, having a big studio definitely helps because it means I haven't got to worry about anything being messy or messed up or stained. Although, if you look at my wardrobe will tell you something completely different because my wardrobe is just everything has got paint on it. Every time I go out somewhere nice, I go through my wardrobe and think, shit, I should have bought something. But that's by the by. But yeah, honestly, set your stall out to what you want from it. Look at it this way: like art is, or being a known artist is like being like a top tier footballer. You've got to be amazing at what you do, or have uh, an interesting voice. May it be comedy, may it be narrative. You know, look at our friend Mr. Banks. Banksy has made a living from being anonymous, which is a fantastic trick. And I know you'll say, oh, everybody knows who he is now, but I still prefer for him to be anonymous and having a fantastic politically driven narrative 9 times out of 10 that resonates with the masses, you know, and because his work is on walls, and it's no different really from a major car company banging up an advert, or Purcell, you know, banging up an advert on these walls, because the everyday man gets to see that. There's some stunningly good artists around the UK, and unless you're into art, 9 times out of 10, people have not heard of them, and it's only because of the way that they've played the art game. Whereas Banksy has been in a public space and been a public face without having a face, basically globally. So therefore, he's globally known. If you probably asked, if you asked 100 people, I should imagine the majority of them would know who he is. And, well played, I say. Well played, that man or team. Because one thing about being an artist is reach. If you want to get known to people, then reach is the key. I've got a bit of a sales background, and sales is just a numbers game, as you possibly may or may not know. And the more that you speak to people, or the more reach you have with people, the more chance you've got of communicating something to them. As I say, be it art or music or whatever. So if you've got a good product, excuse the revving car if you can hear it out there, or bike. As long as you've got a good product, you're personable, and you've got something that people are interested in, then you've got a winning combination. The magic that comes from you having a piece of artwork that somebody else wants to spend their hard-earned on is like dynamite. So, if you're starting out your art career and you're just learning and you're not sure which way you're going to go with it, I'd sit down and just write out, why am I doing it? What do I want from it? How many hours am I going to be put into it to achieve what I want from it? As I say, but it's a tough game. I would advise you to find people that you look up to, maybe in your style or their delivery of narrative or the way that they paint, and study their work. Maybe even copy it a little bit, but not too much, because at the end of the day, that's their work, isn't it? And why would you want to reproduce something that somebody else is already doing? I mean, it is flattery for the artist, but I should imagine the artist involved would probably be pissed off as well if you delivered their artwork better eventually. I'm sure they'd have a few things to say, but yeah. And I'd say, if you can, find podcasts or Facebook groups, or just things where there's lots of different artists talking about their art journey and what they do. I ignore YouTube's full of it, and you might even say this is, but just ignore the people that say things like, get rich quick, I made 12k a year, become an artist in five easy steps, you know, that sort of thing. Because a lot of them are shit. Let's not mince the words here. A lot of them are just trash. A lot of them are really, a lot of them are the artists self promoting um, their stuff. And then all you're doing is buying into whatever they're selling rather than listening. You know, they're actually having something decent to say. That's why on here, I'm going to post a few videos of me rambling exactly the same. And you might like it, you might hate it. It's up to you to watch it. But I'll promise you nothing in it other than I'll be truthful. Um, and I'll tell it as it is, as I find it. There'll be no bullshit in any of it. I mean, heavens to Megatroid. I've certainly listened to enough of it myself. So know what you want from it. What do I want from the art game? I want to be slightly more recognised nationally. I want other people to be inspired by my journey, no matter where it goes. I have a bee in my bonnet slightly about the art world where you've certain people are either born with a silver spoon in their pocket and live off of that and still claim that they've come up the hard way. I'm too thick to get a degree. Actually, I'm not thick. I've just never been applied. I've actually got quite a good IQ, but when it comes to reading and things like that, I'm not very good at concentration, hilariously. Give me a painting, I'll paint on it all day, but when it comes to concentrating on words in a book, I'm asleep in 5 minutes. And that's not just my age either. Yeah. Yeah, so know what you want from it, really, because what it will do is it will save you time. Because time is our most precious asset. Most of us, or most of you out there, you know, won't be in a position where you can give up work and paint. You know, most of you won't be in a position where you've got a lovely studio like this. Most of you will be in a position that, oh fuck, I really want to get on with that paint. You know, I've got some time. The kids have grown up now, or I've got some time in between the kids being out, or kids are with their dad for the weekend or whatever. And then you want to say something. And that's where your artwork starts to, or is a nice thing to go back into. Most of you will be, you know, grabbing at pockets of time. So if you can negate or focus on what you actually want for it, then that will cut out a lot, and I mean a lot, of wasted time. I have to change the light in the studio. The light's in the wrong area. I mean, I've been painting again for 10 years, and my days, that has flown by. Absolutely flown by. I've created a body of paintings, which some things I like, some things I hate. But I'd say they've all led on to the next one in one way or the other. And I've also learnt from every single one. I absolutely love putting paint down. no matter what medium it's in, I always learn something, be it good or bad. And I always panic. This stage here, where I'm just getting paint on for the paint's sake. Um, always, always, how should you say this? Gets my butthole quivering, because at this point, I really don't know if it's going to come good or not. And I'm still that artist. Where people say, "Oh, that'd be cool when you nail it," and then I'm like, "Yeah, if I nail it." And the reality is, I shouldn't be saying that. I should literally, be using affirmations and saying, "Yes, when I nail it," because 9 times out of 10 they do turn out as they should. But I'm only human. I still have doubts like everybody else. Yeah. So why am I painting Amy? So I'm painting Amy because I'm doing a series of paintings, which I've made quite a few and sold a few at the moment, called Beautiful Rebels. And I think most women, just like most men, have got something about them. And I know it's been portrayed in many, many ways on TV and music and films and through art. And this is my little journey. So this is how I'm promoting them. I believe, just like strong men, there's strong women out there, and there's lots of them. Amy Winehouse was just, again, a powerhouse of a woman, but she had her own demons, like a lot of us do. But unfortunately, her demons got the better of her one way or another. I must admit, I wasn't overly a fan of her music at the time. I tend to be one of these people which doesn't get on the hype train at the time, and then find out once everything subsided. Game of Thrones, God, everyone's banging on about that, and I didn't watch that until about a year ago. What was the other one? The Hobbit, I didn't watch that. Breaking Bad, took me 3 attempts to get into, or 4 attempts to get into Breaking Bad. Just couldn't get into that, and then I probably watched it 4 times now. And Better Call Saul, which I actually prefer. But yeah, where were we? Getting back to where we were. So set out your stall. If you set out your stall, then you'll know so much more about where you're going with it. Study the people that you want to be like. Surround yourself with different artists that you want to be like. I mean, art obviously became a lot more at the forefront in COVID, because people needed things to do, and the world had this sudden influx of artists. People that you'd never even thought would pick up a paintbrush are out there now painting. Some have subsided since then, and some have gone away, and some are sticking at it and carrying on with it, which is good. It's great. But there's a lot of competition out there at the end of the day. So if you want to be a world famous artist, or a UK locally famous artist, or just a man down the pub that paints a bit, make that decision. And then what you'll find is your art journey moves forward, that may change. You might hit across a stream of art that you're really into, and suddenly a lot of people are wanting to own it. or as I say, you might just get a bit fed up with it and go away, or you might just shut yourself away and just do it as a hobby. But set yourself out with something which is realistic, because, as I say, it's just it's just such a hard game, realistically, to be, a selling artist. I tend to find if you look behind any artist, you'll find out that they um, don't just do that. They'll make their money from different pockets. They might teach or sell books on their art, or hold events like I do. Um, or they just have a job which is associated in the arts, like they work in a gallery and things like that. But you'll very rarely find an artist which is making a living, an actual living, off of what they're selling. I mean, there's people out there making millions of them on it, but it's not every day. I think that's what I'm trying to get through to you. It's quite a rarity that people can do that. I mean, where I'm in Southend, there's so many. I mean, it's probably the same for your community, but there's so much art. There's so many people. We're a very creative area. There's lots of clubs, lots of community. And there's lots of seriously class artists. Some of them have appeared in landscape and portrait artist. Some of them regularly show up and do demos. God, that's a council house way of speaking. It do demos. Carry out demos. Occasionally show in London, but the majority of them, you'll see that they still have a second job, or they make a living from, as I say, demonstrations, classes, selling books, maybe putting on events, or they've just got a normal day job or part-time day job. But don't be discouraged. I mean, I know this all sounds quite negative, but the world needs your art. The world needs your opinion. The other factors in the world which are going on, like retail dying and AI, AI kicking out all the middle management at the moment. God knows where that's all going to end up. High streets becoming vape shops and charity shops and not a lot else. My true belief is that this is now a time again for creatives, because you can get trainers of whatever shape, colour, size that you want overnight, which you couldn't if you just walk down the high street. They'd get them in for you, or they'd be too expensive compared to online. So let's just say online. Online's got it all. Okay, so if the world's taken care of via Amazon and eBay and online shopping, and the high streets are a little bit knackered because of it. So, what's next? AI? AI creating images? I mean, honestly, they're quite novel. Some make me laugh. Some of the videos, I can't really watch AI videos now. Since the minute I know that they're AI, I'm not interested in them because they're so far fetched. But in a world where, I mean, I'm 51 now. I've lived in this world, right, where you go to France and you go, oh my days, look at that. That is a Citroen. Da, 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 da. Never seen one of those before. And then you turn around the corner and go, oh, that's a Renault. Oh my God, we don't have those in the UK. And then the world went into the motor. See, I can tell I used to be in the motor trade. The world went into globalism, where now it doesn't matter where you are in the world. 9 times out of 10, all the cars are looking the same, and clothes, experiences. You know, it's not just like you have to go to Disney now in Florida. You can go to France and Paris and things like that, places like that. So, in the terms of the world and globalism, I truly believe that people will get sick of AI to a point. I think they already are. I think people will be sick of generated images from AI. And good luck to you if you buy paintings from the range, by the way, because they do AI images now. I think people will turn, and it's my humble opinion, and it may be right and it may be wrong, that people will turn back to purchasing from real artists again, like in the Victorian days. I mean, that really was the last of its heyday art, again, in my opinion, because nobody had a 55-inch plasma on the wall. People had a piano and a fire, and almost everybody in the family, and again, I might be reaching here, could play or sing or play the harmonica or things like that. And they, as a community, all had something that they could contribute to, say, a night playing music. And then what was the backdrop to all of that? Art. That's why if you buy a house that's slightly a bit older from those times, 9 times out of 10 you'll have a picture rail on the wall which you used to hang hooks from and put your own private painting collection from possibly local artists, because remember there was no, or was very little in the way of prints then. And then you had a ready-made story on the wall of who is that artist, what have they done, what's their provenance, did I meet them, you know, all of this sort of stuff. Or I picked that up in a French market, brought it back to the UK. All these lovely little stories which went with the artwork, which are probably all lost now, or mostly all lost. Whereas now, art is viewed not as the main 9 times out of 10. It's viewed as an accessory. So people buy art based on colour or shape. I mean, it's no coincidence that abstract art is one of the highest selling types of art and commands sometimes the most money, because it's only got to sit there and then it's up to you to interpret it whichever way you like. You know, back in the day, that was everything, wasn't it? You bought a piece of artwork, hung it on the wall. People would have a party. What was your talking points? Your talking points were the art sitting around you. But as I say, like everything in progression, that time has moved on. I do think it's quite sad that a lot of people. I mean, I do like pop art. I must admit, I do like a variety of pop art because a lot of it, a lot of it's quite funny, and I like things with a bit of narrative about them. And there's a lot of that out there. I always used to say it's the London style of art, whereas you get a lot of print work, but it was sort of full of narrative about I don't know, a duck with a willy or things like that. I do think it's sad that, as I say, people just buy art now because it complements the curtains. I think it's a horrible, horrible thing in life. Oh, I hate this bit. So basically, not that this is a tutorial, but this is me basically finding my way around that picture with different colours and tones. And then what I'll do is, so I'm using Liquin, by the way, if nobody's used Liquin. I don't know if there's any other brands out there, but I use Liquin Winsor Newton Fine Detail. And what I find is it changes the viscosity of the paint. I find it helps it cover easier. So you can see the way that I'm putting it down on the brush or on the canvas. But then again, like in 24 hours time, it would be almost dry. So, I mean, if you've not painted with oils out there, I mean, or if you have, you'll know that oils can take weeks to dry. And because I paint super fast, this really suits me because then that means it's sort of drying as I put it down. The only problem is you've got to make sure you keep your brushes clean, otherwise that could be the end of your brush quite quickly if you don't. But back to what I was saying, I really think that now is the time for artists again, really. I think the world, as I say, with globalism, has become, or it's become, if it hasn't already, it's becoming such a boring place for it. You know, gone are the days of getting those spot the car moments. I mean, I still go, you know, when I go to France now, I like looking at all the barn finds and all that. Like when you walk past somewhere and there's a car which is sort of sitting there all dilapidated, that's the sort of thing I like looking out for now. because they'd be totally unique to France or Spain or wherever. But with globalism now, all that's gone. So, look at it this way. Maybe your art could be the thing that brings some sunshine back to your local community. Remember that try and make your art a narrative representation of your experiences in life, if you can. Because storytelling, it's been going on for millions and millions of years, ever since we could scrawl on a cave wall. And I think they're the most interesting paintings, really. I mean, I know I'm doing myself a disservice here, because as I say, it's not what I paint, but I bet if I was sat down with a shrink, there'd be elements of why I focus on painting beautiful, strong females mainly. I mean, I paint blokes, but it doesn't flick my switch, as I say, as much as me getting in the details of a beautiful face. I used to, I wasn't used to. I had somebody said to me one day, I paint girls or paint women because women are more likely to buy a painting of a woman than a man is of a man. Which I think has got some truth about it. I mean, you very rarely see a picture of a woman, of a man surrounded by flowers, depicted with all the beauty and slashes around it, and then there's flowers around him. You very, 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 very rarely see that. But paintings of women floating in baths, lakes, just having a head full of flowers and all that everywhere. Lots and lots of people. And that could only be, realistically, to a point, and again, I may be wrong, what people buy, what they look for. But yeah, so back to this. This is the worst point in my painting, because I'm still trying to cover up the white and decide if my tones are warm enough. If they're right enough. Where the blends are, where to leave it. Are the darkest dark enough? Are the lights light enough? I'm very lucky, because I know some people don't, but I enjoy the process more than the finish. I get all my endorphins from this daily painting. I'm usually quite sad to a point when I finish, and then when I finish the painting, I usually let it rest for a while, and then sometimes go back to it and carry on with elements of it. But I always enjoy just the doing. And to that end, there's quite a lot of times where I don't get it right, and they go in the bin, or they get painted over again. But when I do get it right, I get so much joy from it. So if you're setting yourself out and you're just starting, or you've been an artist for a while, literally just try and cut out all the noise, all the people that are a bit negative. Try and focus on all the, say, only the minimal amount of chats and podcasts and things like that you want to learn from. Because, as I say, your time is short. It really is. It's flying by. I can't tell you how many plumbing customers I've had, which I've been in their, 70s, late 70s and all that, and just tell me time and time again, I have no idea where the time has gone. The youth is definitely wasted on the youth. I mean, I'm 51, as I'd say, and I would love to be 41. But at 41, I didn't really like where I was. So I'd like the age without the place. But I kind of feel that I'm in a good place and I'm making up for my lost time at this time. So think about it. Think about what you want from it. Think about, where do I want to be in 5 years? Where do I want to be in 10 years? Am I looking to quit my current job? Am I looking literally just to maybe top up my income? Or have I really got a story that I want to say out there about an experience I've had? Art is can be like writing a book. You can tell the world what you've experienced, and somebody else can experience what you've been through, and the comfort and safety of a lens. And I guess also, if you understand what sort of level you're going for, then at the end of the day, you won't be disappointed. And you can have more fun in creating your art and not worrying about what's going to come from it, where's it going to go. I mean, that comfortability in its own right is golden. But set your level, set your stall out, and as I say, who knows where it will go? Who knows where it will lead you? Or not. But one thing is make sure you have as much fun with it as possible. Share it, let other people experience it. Show the world what joy you get from it, because the world's a shit place and you've got to make as much out of it as you can while you're able to. And as I say, if something comes that you wasn't expecting, that's a bonus, right? Right, so that's the first of my uh, nonsense talks, maybe. God knows, maybe you got something from that, maybe you didn't. I like to think that you might take little bits and pieces from these talks, so let me know if you have, and don't let me know if you're sad about this. You've probably not got this far if you are. Anyway, I realise that it's hard to see up close, but so here I am with my first layer of Amy. If you made it this far, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next rambling. Cheers.